Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the Uptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, stock index futures are slightly below fair value, being led lower by the NASDAQ. Commodities are mixed, with crude oil up 20 cents, while gold is down $8 in the pre-market. Let's start off today's presentation looking at the weekly charts, and so far for the week, the S&P 500 is up 0.75%. The NASDAQ is up over double that, 1.64%, being led higher by the semiconductors, which came back nicely yesterday, up over 6% for the week. Looking at the TSX 60 is up 0.7%, so a little less than the S&P 500. We have had continued strength in gold, up nearly $50 on the week, while crude oil has come down sharply and is down $3.33 so far this week, up 20 cents in the pre-market is not going to change things for the energy sector. Now, this morning we do have some major economic numbers coming out that could affect the direction of the market. We've got some more economic numbers coming out later in the day, but these are the big ones for Friday. Now, yesterday we were looking at Micron. It was going to pop in the pre-market. What happened? Well, it ran up to resistance and stopped. It took out the August high and then reversed. Now, it actually closed at $109.88. But what happened was it opened at 113.10. So if you had your order in at the August highs or just below the 112.50 level, you got filled up close to 113.10. So congratulations. Now, looking at the VIX is still on a sell signal for the S&P 500. This is the most important number that I look at every day. If the VIX were to close above 1753 on Friday, that would set off alarm bells. The VIX for the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, and for the TSX 60 all remain on sell signals. That, of course, is supportive for higher stock prices. Now, looking at the major index ETFs from Thursday's trading action, the iShares for the TSX 60 made a new high yesterday. Inside day for the Dow, new high for the S&P 500, new high for this move for the NASDAQ 100. It's heading towards 500, but it came up and filled this open gap yesterday and then pulled back. So that gap is no longer in play. If we can take out yesterday's high, then $500 should certainly come up in the not-so-distant future. It doesn't look like we're heading in that direction on Friday morning. Now, the Russell 2000 is still on a buy signal. Things would change on Friday with a close below $217.43. Now, semiconductors continued to move up on Thursday. It was a big day for the semiconductors, and they took out the August high. Now, what didn't work? Well, crude oil came down yesterday. Energy stocks on both sides of the borders got hit hard, and they are back on sell signals. But at the same time, we've got all the travel stocks heading higher on Thursday with crude oil moving down. Now, the mining stocks popped on Thursday as well. There's the copper miners popping. We had gold miners on both sides of the border continue to close higher, so everybody is still happy in that area of the market. Then looking at the S&P material sector ETF, you can see it popped nicely on Thursday as well, up over 2% on the day. Let's move on and take a look at the most actively traded U.S. stocks from Thursday's trading action. Now, starting off with NVIDIA, we're still projecting higher prices here for NVIDIA, but unfortunately, NVIDIA has been making a series of lower highs and may have put in another one yesterday. We still closed up on the day, up 53 cents, but compared to the rest of the semiconductor sector, that's not a very impressive move for NVIDIA. NIO made a new high for this move yesterday and then pulled back. No change in trend. Micron we've already looked at. Intel moved up yesterday, still trying to get to $25. That's our next mathematical target. If Intel were to pop above 25, then you assume that they want to go and fill that gap that's still open, but that is certainly not happening on Friday morning. All the Chinese stocks have moved up sharply this week. Alibaba popped again yesterday. Then looking at Tesla moved up, reversed, and closed lower on the day. We're trying to get to 265.63, still waiting for that to happen. Then looking at IQ popped yesterday. Not a stock I've looked at a lot, and you can see 313 was support back in July and August. That broke, and so now we have a wall of resistance to get through if we're going to move higher from here. American Airlines moved up with the rest of the travel sector yesterday. hit our next price target of 11.72. So congratulations if you had an order in there. Then Mara moved up yesterday. We're trying to head to 18.75. That's where we topped out back in August. Then we're looking at Banco Bradesco, and we're looking for a close on Friday above 273 to give us a buy signal there. Vale popped yesterday. A lot of stocks in the mining sector popped on Thursday. And then JD.com, another Chinese stock, moved up sharply again on Thursday. So big moves up for all the Chinese stocks, not stocks I typically follow. I don't like following overseas stocks traded on North American markets because there's always gaps involved. Then Ford rolled over on Tuesday. It's still on a sell signal, no change there. And last up, we've got NU Holdings rolling over on Thursday, back on a sell signal. Now, this stock was down at the bottom of the panic zones in early August. A pressure zone formed. We started to turn around. So when we're down at these levels, you've got to assume we're running out of sellers, and anybody who wanted to sell the stock has had the opportunity. We don't want to buy down at these levels. We want to wait until the market tells us that sellers are coming back in, and we can see that when the chart starts to turn color. And we ran up, we pulled back. Now another buy signal showed up, and I personally would have waved off that buy signal because I don't want to be buying at the top of the panic zones. That's where people usually want to take profits. And so that second buy signal that came up, myself, I would have waved it off. Now, you'll hear me say that a lot, and a lot of times the market continues to move higher. I just know that it's a higher risk opportunity compared to buying off the bottom of the panic zone. So I look for low risk opportunities and wave off a lot of the high risk opportunities, which I eventually, some of them continue to move higher, and that's just the way the market is. So you can't be right all the time. Let's finish off this morning's presentation taking a look at the most actively traded Canadian stocks from Thursday's trading action. Now, any energy-related stock got hit hard on Thursday. It's hard to believe the TSX was able to close higher on the day. There's Baytech moving down, breaking down below the recent low. So that means that 371, 352 could be in play. Then we've got Suncor back on a sell signal as of Thursday's close. Manulife, on the other hand, making a new high for this move. We're trying to get to 40.63, but the big round number is $40. We traded just above that. We got as high as $40.24 before pulling back and closing just below $40. Then we're looking at Cenovus. It's back on a sell signal. Canadian Natural Resources back on a sell signal. Then we've got Allied Gold trading down to the lower channel line for the past 2 days. Things would change on Friday if it were to close below $3.24. Then we've got Tamarack back on a sell signal as of Thursday's close. No joy for Athabasca. It's on its fourth day of a sell signal. Then we've got B2 Gold still on a buy signal. Close below $4.29 would give us a sell signal on Friday. Enbridge treading water up here. A close below $54.78 on Friday would give us a sell signal. And last up, we've got BlackBerry making a new high for this move, taking out the high from early September. Still on a buy signal here. 352 is our next mathematical target, and that's where we peaked out back in June and July. So that is a wall of resistance, and if we could take that out, then 391 would come into play. Okay, folks, that is all for Friday morning. Stock index futures have started to turn around. They are still close to fair value, but everything's trading up except the NASDAQ at the moment. So we're still ahead of those 8:30 economic numbers, which could certainly change the direction of the market. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. If you're a member, I'll be back on Sunday. Otherwise, if you're not a member, next time you'll hear my voice is on Monday morning.